Like either, they didn't realize that they're gone so much and they miss so much home time and important things with their family. I mean, if they have kids, it's if you don't have strong help at home and you have children, it's almost impossible. It's really, really, really hard to do. And it's sad. Like, you miss them. You get lonely. You eat cold meals. Like, I literally, this trip, ate cold meatloaf. Very glamorous life I lead.
Welcome back to another episode of the Layover Podcast. My name is Bree, your host. Today we have another special guest with us. Her name is Hannah, and she happens to be my flying partner for this trip that I'm on. What's up, Hannah?
Hi, everybody.
You want to tell them anything about yourself? How long you've been flight attending, etc.?
I have been doing this for 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
Okay. A decade in the books, people. So listen up. Okay, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the kind of steps you might take before you decide to become a flight attendant. So maybe you became interested in it, you saw a flight attendant doing their thing, and you're like, I might want to do that. Maybe some steps to figure out, is that actually a good idea in the day-to-day? Am I going to like it? Someone who's asking those sorts of questions, how they can get prepared, but also how they can kind of explore whether or not it's a good idea.
Yeah. I didn't even know this was a job. I was dating a guy, and he knew of somebody who was a flight attendant or worked for the airline, and he was telling me that they were going to the airport and they packed a little bit for cold and warm, and they were just going to pick a flight and go. And I was like, that blew my mind. I was like, how? Like, don't you need to know where you're going? And then my whole little world opened up. So I did all kinds of research. I watched all kinds of videos of flight attendants in training, how to do your makeup, how to wear your hair, keep it up, your nails. It was Barbie boot camp is what I discovered. Holy moly. So yeah, I just started applying like crazy, and I edited my resume to where, how each airline has their cover words or whatever it is,
yes.
They emphasize on certain things.
Yeah.
Well, I adjusted mine and highlighted those words in red to each specific airline. I don't know if it helped, but here I am.
Okay.
So.
No, that's good, because sometimes I say, if you want to get an idea of a job, even though it seems super simple, straightforward, do read the job description.
Right.
See what what they're looking for and what they say.
Even with all that, I had no idea what I really got myself into.
So my question, it sounds like you did research before. You said you watched all the videos, and I'm sure a lot of people are doing that.
It was more for the interview part, what to expect, because I had no idea. And by the way, it was the most intense interview I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But as far as the job, I should have done more research.
What would you have done instead, now that you've done the job? What kind of research would you...
I would have looked up the difference between different airlines. I didn't even know there was regional and national or international.
I didn't either.
I had no idea.
I was like, what is that? What is a regional?
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that, there was United, American. I didn't know any of that.
And some of those are the obvious ones, but when you get into regional, it's you don't see their name pop up everywhere, so you don't really know that exists. Yeah, that's a good one. I wonder... I forgot what I thought. It was something you said about when you were applying. Oh, that's it. You don't know what you don't know in the research process. So you think, maybe I need to research customer service. Right. Maybe I need to research this, but you don't know what the job entails and that sort of thing until you kind of get into it. What would you say the core kind of skills or responsibilities are as a flight attendant now that you've been doing it?
The main thing, people that want to do this job, you need to be able to wear many hats. With that being said, we are peacekeepers. I've had to separate 2 grown adults over foot space before.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, childish stuff. And then, our number one job is to protect the flight deck. So we have to deal with people all the time. Some are angry, some are happy, some
are
are
sad.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
You get some people and you're just like, oh my goodness, you're loud. Can you just zip it? But
especially when they get to drinking.
Yes. But yeah, it's not just one type of person that we deal with. It's all over. Nationalities, people from all over the world, they're raised different. Their manners are different. What you may think is rude is acceptable to them. That's a big one. So you've got to be good with people.
Okay.
Don't be angry. Don't be a negative Nancy. Nobody wants to hear you griping all the time. We know it gets hard. We know it sucks sometimes. Nothing ever usually goes right.
No, that's real. Prepare for things to go how you didn't expect them to go.
Like today is go home day, and we are already delayed.
Yep.
Sitting in the hotel.
Just waiting.
So it happens. But with that being said, we also get good things. It's like a circle, you get some really crappy days, but then something happens and you get a ferry straight home.
That's right.
Early. So, it's a little circle. Just keep that in mind.
That's real. So, okay, so you said when you were starting out, you're like, okay, I'm going to get prepared for this interview. I'm about to watch some videos. Did you do anything else? Did you take any quizzes? Did you talk to flight attendants? No. Would you recommend that now?
I mean, yeah, it's always good to talk to people who do what you're interested in doing. But I wouldn't have done it. I would have just stuck with what I did.
Okay. Like if you talk to flight attendants, you wouldn't have done the job? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, I probably wouldn't have sought people out to talk to them.
And yet you're still here. So there are some things that, like, you think you have to do. You create a whole list for yourself. Like, I got to talk to a flight attendant. I got to take a flight. You really don't have to do all that. You kind of just get into it and then learn as you go.
Be confident in yourself. Don't be arrogant. Don't be snooty. But be confident in yourself. They want somebody who can work under pressure, who can, in fact, take charge of a situation. That's very, very important. You're going to have people who get really angry, very confrontational, and you've got to be able to take charge of that situation.
For sure.
Or it's going to get real bad real quick.
Yeah, it can get out of control. Yeah, for sure.
Especially, 30,000 feet up in the air.
I know.
Nobody's
there to help you.
I know.
It's you.
That is something that really bothered me when we first started. We had the 200s, which you were the one single flight attendant. But we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I did not like that. I actually got mild panic attacks when I had to do those. I mean, I pulled up my big girl panties and said, okay, I'm here, let's do this. But at first, I'm like, oh my gosh. And the reason, because I was completely alone.
Yeah.
Even if I don't mesh well with the other flight attendant, at least I know they've been through the same training. And I would hope to God they would have my back and do their job.
Yeah.
If something happened.
100%. So for those of you who don't know, 200s are smaller planes that only require one flight attendant. So when you're working a flight, it's just you. It's you for the safety demo. It's you for emergencies. It's you for illnesses, etc. So you were doing those in the beginning, all by yourself.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
Yeah, I can understand. Why.
Some people really loved them, though.
Yeah.
Like, some of the people who have been here longer than myself, they loved them, and I'm like,
yeah,
you can take them.
My IOE instructor, she said that she was working the flight from Dayton to LaGuardia, 200, and she was super sad when they left. But she's very she's bossy, and she's like, it's my way or get off the plane. Like, she doesn't play. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's so funny because it's like I would be like, you by all means take them. Take all the 200 trips you want. Yeah. And some people are like, give them
right,
here.
Yeah. Let me have all that. Yeah.
It just takes all kinds of people to make this industry go around for real, though.
That's a good point, because it's not one particular personality, like there's different strengths and weaknesses because there are so many different things to be done,
right?
So many people to deal with. I wonder, so there's this concept, it comes from career counseling and stuff, but it's called job person fit. Basically job fit, and it doesn't have to get all scientific, but it's just that it's a theory that says people with certain characteristics are more fit for certain jobs. And if you get that fit right, you're more likely to have satisfaction for the long term.
Makes sense.
Satisfaction is important because you're doing your job a lot of hours of the week, in the day, in the year.
Right, we all need money.
Exactly. You need your money, and then you also want to feel good about how you do it. Or you could if you spend a lot of time on your job and you don't like your job that much,
you're miserable.
That's right.
Nobody wants to be miserable.
No,
I don't.
Me either. I don't want the wrong fit. But given that the job requires so many different types of personalities, what do you think about that concept of fit? Like, how do you feel like that relates to aviation?
There are a few people I've come across, and I'm just like, ooh, you need to get out of this. This is not the job
not
for
you, babe.
But it could have been just they had a bad day. It happens. We're all human. But as far as the right fit, they kind of weed themselves out. Like, either, they didn't realize that they're gone so much and they miss so much home time and important things with their family. I mean, if they have kids, it's if you don't have strong help at home and you have children, it's almost impossible. It's really, really, really hard to do. And it's sad. Like, you miss them. You get lonely. You eat cold meals. Like, I literally, this trip, ate cold meatloaf. Very glamorous life I lead. I know.
Right.
I know.
No, that's real. That's real. I wonder, I think it would be helpful to, so those times where you work with people who you're like, oh, I don't know if this is for you. What kind of characteristics were they giving off where you're like, you're not going to be happy here?
They were very, I don't really know exactly how to describe it. So, you know how everything has to be in airplane mode, right?
Right.
We do not go through and check. Just don't let me hear it ping. Okay? Just lie to me. Whatever. Okay? If I noticeably see it and you're on your phone, get off your phone. But I'm not going to go through and police the whole plane. I don't have time for that, nor do I care.
Right. You're not going to turn every bed over and look for, okay.
Right. But this one person would walk down the aisle and repeat it over and over and over. And I'm like, oh, for the love. Like, what are you doing? You're getting on my nerves. Knock it off. Okay. Like, you were not trained to do that. That's not our training. You are just being extra.
You're being extra.
Like, there's no need for that.
Yeah.
And it rubs people the wrong way.
Okay. So, I don't know what that would be called. I don't want to say nitpicky. Is it like, because you need a certain attention to detail? But
but don't overdo it.
You could overdo it.
Like, we're not there to police. Like, if you don't follow the rules and it becomes an issue, then we will up it a little bit to take care of the situation. Like, get off your phone. If you can't comply, then you gotta go. Right. Like, I need you to follow my directions. This is mine.
But don't escalate what's not escalated.
Right.
You're taking it too far.
Right. Like, there's no need for that.
Okay, that's a good one. Any more? Maybe two more.
People are just always negative. I already hit on that a little bit, but like I said, nothing usually goes right. You have the days where you're just like, holy crap, it went smoothly.
And that's a surprise.
But most of the time it doesn't, and you have the people who all they want to do is complain. Don't. If you're like that, this is not the job for you. And I'm not even being mean, because you're going to be miserable because, one, you're always complaining, and you're going to have things to complain about. A lot of things to complain about, but you're bringing everybody else down. Yeah. We're a team. Yeah. We all feed off each other's energy. If you come in all pissy and negative, it's going to reflect on the whole crew.
This is something to really think about. Like, I know it sounds, because we're talking about negative emotion, like we're just being like, don't complain. But there's actually, in several personality theories, like the Big Five or even Myers-Briggs. In the Big Five, it's called neuroticism, and in the Myers-Briggs, it's funny. It's a trait that they measure, and it's called turbulence. and it measures how much turbulence you have in your personality, and neuroticism is a measure of how much negative emotion you have in your personality. And there are some places that are good for that, where you need to be able to pick at everything, where you need to kind of be sensitive just in case something goes wrong. But if that's you, maybe this is not the job for you, because like she said, things are going to go off schedule. Things are going to happen that you don't expect. They're not going to be as clear cut as you thought they would. And if you're not able to adjust quickly, yeah, you're going to feel a lot of negative emotion that
you're
might
be miserable.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not even being mean at all. It's just, it's harder than it looks. Like, people see us and they're like, oh, they're just, serving drinks.
Yeah.
You have no idea what we actually do, that you don't even see us doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, when we board.
Yeah.
There's a million things we are doing.
Like what?
Well, if you work the front when you're greeting everybody, we are, making sure, one, people are coming on, they're not sick, they're not drunk, they're not violent, they're complying with our airline. You have to leave your rollerboards at the jet bridge.
So you're observing and assessing
everything. You are trying to serve first class drinks while making sure nobody enters the flight deck, because the door is open at this time.
Mm-hmm. Serving and protecting.
Yep. It's just, and then so we are trained for emergencies. We look supposed to. I mean, we at least see everybody, and certain people will stand out, like, oh, that guy's really tall. He's got some muscles. He'd be good to use. Or, the elderly, we have to have a special briefing for them. And we kind of notice who's around them in case we have to evacuate, who can help. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that we're thinking of that nobody even knows we're doing it.
It looks like we're just walking up and down the aisle, asking you to put your bag under the seat, but there's a lot behind the surface.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know if anybody has flown before, we do get slightly annoying with the whole bags under the seats, take your fanny packs off, but there's a reason. Everything we do is for safety. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't realize it, something has happened before to make this a regulation.
That's right.
So the reason for the bags all the way underneath that seat, if we have to evacuate and you've got your book bag strap hanging out, you are tripping, the person behind you is tripping. Now you got a whole pile up of people who are trying to evacuate for fire, smoke, who knows the reason why. But everybody behind you is getting stuck, all because you didn't want to put your bag all the way under. Or ladies with the purses over your shoulder. Say you're in the front part of the airplane and we can't get out those doors and we have to go backwards. The seats have little armrests that stick out. Say there's smoke and you've got to bend down. You get that caught, like a belt loop on your counter when you're turning around,
That's so annoying.
The one random thing. It's like, how? But it happens. That's why. And we have to do this every flight because we don't know when it's going to happen. It's not something that's planned, like, oh, our plane's going to catch fire today. Nobody knows this. Nobody knows. So we have to do this every flight, every time.
You heard it.
Wait, honestly, if we didn't have to do it, we don't want to do it.
We don't want to come back and have to talk to you about your bag under the... We don't want to do that.
No, we're not just nitpicking, picking you out because it's fun. It's not fun. No. I'd rather not have to say a thing to you, Just do it. Let us move on and get you to where you need to go and have a nice day.
That's it. I know when I first started, that was hard for me because I remember flying and I never thought about being a flight attendant, but the lady was like, hey, can you put your bag under the seat? And I was annoyed, lady, leave me alone. My bag is fine. And then when I became a flight attendant talking to other passengers, I thought maybe they feel the same way. They don't want me to talk to them.
They do.
And I had a hard time, but then I was just like, hey man, better me tell you this now than something go down and it not be what it's supposed to be. So
right.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about research a little bit. I guess my question to you is, there's someone out there, they're considering being a flight attendant. You've been doing this for a minute. You've been doing this for a while, a decade. What advice do you have to them before they get into it, as they're considering? Do you have any advice for them?
think long and hard about family life. Are you okay being gone? When you first start, we have this thing called reserve. And basically, scheduling does whatever they want to you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know your contract because they don't, and they'll pull some stuff. But besides that, you're gone a lot. They can work you up to 6 days with 1 day off and turn around for another whole 6 days, and they don't care. They will, and they have.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care.
And they did, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're cool with leaving home, and it does get easier. It's not like that always, forever, but it's still hard.
Yeah.
So it's really important for you to realize that you will be gone.
Yeah, we did talk about stuff on the job that people don't see, but another part of the job actually is trying to balance being away from home and what your home life is going to look like, whether that's how you're going to pay for things, because flight attendants don't get paid a whole lot, whether that's like if you have kids like she mentioned before, or just like
pets,
exactly plants, like who's watering the plants, who's taking care of the pets.
The only thing I could have right now is a goldfish with a weekly feeder because it's on its own, man. Like anything else would die.
Yeah, I want to have a dog, and I know I can't do it.
No, we can't.
Do it. So think about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it does get lonely. Like I said, you're in your room. You can go out for walks. You can go out with the crew if they want to go out. Just always be vigilant with that. If you go out by yourself, the world's a crazy place. Don't put yourself in unnecessary situations. They don't allow you to bring mace. They don't allow you to have a knife or a gun or anything like that. You're out there.
It's all you, just like it is when you're in there. It's just you.
Right, yeah. So keep that in mind. You're strange places all the time. I don't really have anything else right now.
No, that's a good one. Think about your home life and how that matches up with the job. Thank you, Hannah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Anything else? Last words? Don't wanna. No pressure.
No. No. Just remember, we're not trying to be mean with the things that we say. I mean, you'll come across some flight attendants who are having a bad day, or just don't need to be here. That might come off mean, but usually we're not trying to pick at you. We don't want to. There's a reason we're asking you to do it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It is all for safety. It's all to protect you and us. That's it. That's all I got for you.
That's it. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time. I really liked having this conversation with Hannah, not just because we happen to be flying together that week, but because she really helps us think about how we're going to deal with the ups and downs of flight attending. And because she's been doing it for so long, we can trust that she kind of knows what she's doing. It's funny, on this trip, as Hannah talked about things happening that you don't expect and how things do go wrong, or at least not according to schedule. On the very trip that I was working with Hannah, we were supposed to leave. It was go home day for us. It was day 4 of our 4-day trip, and we were scheduled to get in at around 8:40 in the evening, but we didn't end up making it home until 11:30 that night. And I'd say that's one of the milder things that can happen on the line. This episode isn't to scare you, but it is to give you a heads up of maybe some things you want to think about so that you aren't discouraged when they probably, because they most likely will, happen to you. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned when more episodes come out. Also, for this week, why not leave a comment answering the question, are you ready to be away from home? Are you ready to be gone for half of the week? And why? See you on the next episode, and remember, sometimes great destinations require a layover.